The stars above burned cold and distant as a fleet of alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. They were unlike anything humans had ever seen, towering, black and jagged, moving with a quiet confidence that spoke of centuries of conquest. From Earth, they looked like dark mountains floating in space, silent, waiting. Inside the Global Defense Command, alarms screamed. Screens flashed red, showing the approaching fleet in real time. Commanders and scientists ran through calculations, their faces pale. Every report made it worse. The alien ships were massive, heavily armed, and faster than any human craft. Yet, even in that moment of fear, a strange calm settled over the human leaders. Humans had always been underestimated. Throughout history, species stronger and faster than them had tried to dominate the planet, only to fail. Now, the same courage burned again, shining brighter than the panic around them. The president stood on the observation deck, looking at the holographic fleet. She spoke quietly but firmly, her voice reaching every corner of the room. Attack Earth, and the galaxy will feel the consequences. In the Alien Council, leaders of different worlds argued. They called Earth's warning foolish. One alien with green translucent skin hissed, "They are small. They are weak. What can they do?" Another, covered in armored scales, growled, "They survived against predators, against themselves. Perhaps they are dangerous. But still, they are primitive." They underestimated humans because they could not measure the spirit of a species that refused to die. On Earth, humans moved like shadows in busy corridors. Scientists worked on strange devices that hummed with energy. Engineers adjusted weapon systems, their hands steady despite knowing that failure meant extinction. Among them, a young pilot named Kira checked the controls of a sleek fighter. Her eyes were bright, but they did not waver. She had trained for this moment all her life. Her craft was not the strongest, but it was fast, nimble, and armed with weapons designed to surprise. Meanwhile, satellites detected alien spies moving among the colonies beyond Mars. Humans had no choice but to strike first if they wanted to survive. Small teams of pilots were sent on dangerous missions, slipping past alien patrols to plant devices, gather intelligence, and prepare traps. Every move was a risk. Every second could mean life or death. Yet, the humans moved with a strange confidence, the kind that comes from knowing that they had no other choice. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in a hidden chamber, the president activated the Starfire array for the first time. Energy surged through the massive facility, glowing red and white, casting shadows on the walls. This was a weapon designed to destroy fleets in minutes, a secret humans had kept for decades. Only the highest-ranking leaders knew of its existence. Now, it was ready. Now, it might be humanity's only hope. In space, alien ships began to form battle lines. Their commanders laughed, thinking of Earth as a fragile ball of life, easy to crush. Yet, the humans had seen what arrogance could do. They remembered history, the countless species that thought themselves invincible until they faced true resistance. On one of the human outposts near Jupiter, Kira and her squadron readied themselves. Engines roared as they lifted off the platform, moving in perfect formation. The stars streaked past their windows as they accelerated toward the enemy fleet. Kira felt a strange mixture of fear and exhilaration. She was about to make history, or she was about to die trying. The first shot fired. A human missile, tiny compared to the alien fleet, streaked through space and struck a massive ship. The explosion was bright, white, and blinding, sending shockwaves that could be felt even from thousands of miles away. Alien ships faltered, unsure of what had happened. Humans cheered silently in their helmets, knowing that this was just the beginning. Back on Earth, the president watched the displays, her face unreadable. She knew this war would not be easy. She knew many would die. But she also knew that humans had something no alien could understand: the will to survive, the drive to fight when everything seemed lost, and the courage to turn even the smallest advantage into a victory. The galaxy had underestimated them. It would regret that mistake. The stars were silent again, but for a moment, they seemed to pulse with human defiance. The first move had been made. The war was beginning. And Earth, small and fragile, was ready to unleash its fury on the universe. The galaxy did not wait long to respond. Alien commanders were furious. Their massive fleet had never faced such resistance. A single human missile had exploded against one of their largest ships, shaking even the most confident alien leaders. Messages of alarm spread through their communications. "How can this small species have such power?" one hissed. Another growled, "We underestimated them, and it will cost us." On Earth, humans watched the alien response with tense eyes. Screens displayed fleets splitting, strange ships moving faster than anyone expected. Scientists and military commanders worked side by side, adjusting weapons, plotting movements, and predicting alien strategies. The humans had no choice. They had to stay ahead, use every trick, and never give the enemy time to regroup. Kira and her squadron flew deeper into enemy lines. The stars streaked past them, the hum of their engines blending with the quiet terror of space. Alien fighters tried to surround them, but humans were fast, unpredictable, and daring. Every move seemed reckless to an outsider, yet every move was calculated. They dodged energy beams, fired counterattacks, and disappeared into the darkness before the aliens could respond. Meanwhile, the Starfire array hummed beneath the Earth's crust, growing brighter with every passing moment. The weapon had not yet been fired at full power, but humans had already shown that they were willing to fight, even when outnumbered. Scientists whispered among themselves, watching energy levels climb. This weapon could change the balance of power in the galaxy, but only if humans used it wisely. One mistake, one miscalculation, and it could destroy everything they had built. The aliens were not just angry, they were terrified. Stories of humans surviving impossible odds, of humans defying logic and strategy, had spread quickly. Even the youngest alien soldiers had begun to doubt their leaders. How could a species so small and seemingly weak resist fleets that dwarfed entire planets? Yet, humans did not just resist, they struck with precision, cunning, and ferocity that no one expected. Back in space, Kira noticed something strange. An alien ship moved differently, as if testing their limits. It followed them, but did not attack. Kira's squadron grew wary, their training kicking in. This was no ordinary enemy. It was intelligent, patient, calculating. They were dealing with minds that had studied thousands of species, and yet, humans were already surprising them. On Earth, the president addressed the nation through a broadcast. Her voice was calm but firm. "We face enemies stronger than we have ever seen. They think we are weak. They think we are small. But they do not know humanity. We will survive. We will fight. And the galaxy will learn that humans are not to be underestimated." Across the galaxy, alien leaders began to realize the truth. Humans were not predictable. Humans were not logical in the way other species were. They could turn fear into courage, scarcity into innovation, and desperation into victory. It was not technology alone that made them dangerous, it was their spirit. Kira's squadron returned to Earth orbit after a daring mission. Some ships were damaged, some pilots exhausted, but all had survived. The humans had struck alien supply lines, disrupted communications, and sent a clear message. Earth was not a target, it was a force to be reckoned with. In the shadows of the galaxy, other human colonies watched. News of the first victories spread quickly. Colonists began readying defenses, building new weapons, and training pilots. Every small victory inspired another. Every alien mistake became an opportunity. Humanity was rising, and even in the darkest corners of space, hope grew. But the war had only just begun. The aliens would return, stronger, smarter, and more determined. The humans would have to fight harder than ever. Kira and her squadron, the Starfire array, and the courage of billions of humans would be tested. The galaxy had seen a taste of human power, but it was only the beginning. The stars were no longer silent. They were alive with conflict, echoing with the first sounds of a war that would change everything. And humanity, small but unbroken, stood ready to shape the fate of the galaxy itself. The first full-scale battle had begun. Alien ships poured into the outer edges of the solar system, their weapons blazing, energy beams cutting through darkness like lightning. Humans scrambled, launching every ship they could, every pilot ready to risk life and machine for survival. Kira flew at the front, her squadron tight and focused. Her fingers danced over the controls, her eyes scanning for threats. Alien fighters surrounded them, faster and stronger, but humans were clever. They used the asteroid fields as cover, weaving between rocks that could destroy even the largest ships. The aliens had never seen such tactics. Every human maneuver was a surprise, every move a puzzle they could not solve. On Earth, the Starfire array hummed with power. Scientists and engineers watched carefully, adjusting energy levels, calculating the perfect moment. The array was not just a weapon, it was a symbol. A message that humans could fight back with technology even the galaxy thought impossible. Explosions lit up space as human ships struck with precision. Small squads took down massive alien cruisers, using speed and strategy to exploit weak points. Each victory was a miracle, but humans knew they could not last long against such overwhelming numbers. Every pilot who returned to Earth orbit carried tales of bravery, sacrifice, and cunning victories. The alien commanders were growing frustrated. Their fleets were larger, but human unpredictability made their strength meaningless. They could not predict the moves, the strikes, or the traps humans set. One alien general shouted in anger, "They are not just strong, they are clever, dangerous, insane." Kira's squadron was sent on a dangerous mission, to destroy a communications relay controlling a fleet of alien drones. If they failed, entire human sectors would be destroyed. She led her team through narrow asteroid belts, dodging energy blasts and debris. One by one, the human pilots struck, moving faster than the aliens expected. Kira fired the last shot, blowing the relay into pieces. The alien drones faltered, their formation broken. Meanwhile, on Earth, the President and her commanders monitored the battle. Every loss was felt deeply, but every victory was celebrated. They knew the war would be long and costly, but humans had proven something no other species had. Size, strength, and firepower were not everything. Strategy, courage, and ingenuity could level any battlefield. Across the galaxy, stories of human victories began to spread. Colonies on distant planets prepared defenses, inspired by Earth's courage. Even alien spies began reporting back tales of human cunning, forcing alien leaders to rethink their strategies. The humans were small, but they were not weak. They were unstoppable when cornered, and they were fearless when defending their home. Kira looked back at the wreckage of the alien ships, her squadron battered but alive. They had won this battle, but they all knew it was only the beginning. Larger fleets were on the way, and the galaxy would not forgive such humiliation. Yet, the humans had sent a clear message: Earth was not a target to be conquered, it was a force to be feared. The stars glowed with the fires of battle, but among them, the human spirit shone brightest. Each strike, each plan, each act of courage reminded everyone in the galaxy of one undeniable truth: underestimate humans at your own peril. As the first battle drew to a close, Kira and her team returned to Earth orbit. Damage was everywhere, but the human fleet had survived. The galaxy had learned a lesson, one that would echo across stars and planets. Humans fight not just for survival, they fight to dominate, to protect, and to prove that even the smallest species can change the fate of the universe. And far above, the Starfire array pulsed quietly, waiting for the moment it would unleash its true power. Humanity had won the first battle, but the war had only just begun. Humans were no longer fighting just to defend Earth, they were taking the fight to the stars. Alien leaders had assumed humanity would hide, retreat, and surrender, but the humans did the unexpected. Small fleets slipped past patrols, striking at supply lines, outposts, and communication hubs in distant systems. Every victory was carefully planned, every strike calculated to cause maximum disruption. Kira led one of these missions, flying her squadron through a dense asteroid belt near a distant gas giant. Their target was an alien fuel depot, critical to refueling massive warships. The moment the depot exploded, Shockwaves rippled through the alien fleet. Ships were stranded, fleets slowed, and alien commanders were forced to rethink their strategies. Back on Earth, the president watched the reports with a mixture of pride and concern. The humans were winning small victories, but the alien response was growing faster than expected. Fleets that had been destroyed were replaced, faster and stronger. Scientists warned that humans could not rely solely on guerrilla tactics for long. Yet, every human pilot, engineer, and soldier knew that cleverness, courage, and unpredictability were their greatest weapons. In the middle of space, Kira's squadron encountered an unexpected threat, a massive alien warship that dwarfed anything humans had faced before. Its weapons could destroy an entire fleet in moments, and its armor was nearly indestructible. The squadron hesitated, knowing that one wrong move could be fatal. Kira's mind raced. They had no choice but to fight cleverly, to use speed, terrain, and surprise to survive. Using the asteroid belt, Kira's squadron weaved between massive rocks, hiding from sensors and striking weak points in the alien ship's defenses. One ship faltered, its shields overloaded by a precise human strike. The alien warship roared in retaliation, but humans were gone before it could target them again. The small squadron had delivered a crippling blow without losing a single pilot. News of these daring missions spread across human colonies. Civilians, soldiers, and scientists began building weapons, ships, and defenses, inspired by the bravery of pilots like Kira. Even on distant colonies, humans began taking the fight into alien territory, showing the galaxy that Earth was not alone. Alien commanders were growing desperate. Their fleets were powerful, but their strategy had failed. They could not predict humans. Each small strike, each daring raid, was a new puzzle they could not solve. They realized that humans were not only fighters, they were thinkers, planners, and innovators. Every corner of the galaxy where humans existed had become a place of resistance. The president addressed the people again, her voice calm and resolute. They thought they could crush us with fleets, with fire, with fear. They were wrong. We are humans. We survive. We fight. And now, we are not just defending our home, we are showing the galaxy that humanity cannot be stopped. Kira's squadron returned after a daring series of raids. Ships were damaged, supplies low, and pilots exhausted, but morale soared. Humans had struck deep into alien-controlled space and lived to tell the story. The galaxy had begun to take notice. Fear spread among the alien species, not just of humans' weapons, but of their courage, ingenuity, and unbreakable will. The stars above burned with the fires of conflict, and humans shone brighter than any of them. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Small, fragile Earth had become a storm that could not be tamed. Humans were rising, not as victims, but as warriors, explorers, and conquerors. The first sparks of a merciless human war were lighting the galaxy, and no one, alien or human, would ever be the same again. The aliens were no longer patient. Their fleets repaired and reinforced, and now they struck back with fury. Entire human colonies faced bombardment, supply lines were cut, and outposts were attacked with precision. The galaxy was ablaze with war, and for the first time, humans faced enemies equal to their cunning and courage. Kira and her squadron flew toward a distant colony under siege. Smoke and fire stretched across the planet's atmosphere. Alien warships hovered above, energy beams slicing through defenses. Civilians were evacuating, and human soldiers prepared to fight a battle that seemed impossible. "Stay calm, stay sharp," Kira told her team. "We do not retreat. We fight. We survive." The squadron struck first, using stealth and speed. They dodged alien fire, striking weak points in the enemy ships. Human ingenuity was on full display. Small fighters disabled massive cruisers, while improvised drones disrupted enemy targeting systems. Every human strike was a precise gamble, a test of courage and skill. On Earth, the President and her commanders coordinated multiple defenses. Satellites fired laser grids, intercepting incoming alien ships. Secret weapons, including the Starfire array, were kept ready but reserved for moments of desperation. Humans knew that even their greatest technology could not guarantee victory. Their strength lay in strategy, coordination, and the willingness to risk everything. The aliens were ruthless. Their attacks were fast, brutal, and relentless. Entire human sectors were at risk. But humans adapted. Supply lines were rerouted, colonies were evacuated in record time, and traps were set to ambush alien fleets. Even when outnumbered, humans refused to surrender. Every battle was a lesson, every loss a step toward survival. Kira's squadron faced the largest alien battleship yet. Its weapons could obliterate their small fighters in seconds. But humans did not retreat. They feinted, dodged, and attacked in ways aliens could not predict. A single well-placed strike disabled the ship's primary weapon. The alien commander screamed in disbelief as their massive vessel began to drift, powerless. Humans had turned desperation into victory once again. Across the galaxy, other humans rallied. Colonies that had never fought before joined the fight, inspired by tales of courage and ingenuity. Small fleets moved with precision, striking where aliens were weakest. Even the most powerful alien species began to fear humans, not just for their technology, but for their unbreakable spirit. On Earth, the president addressed the nation. The enemy believes they can crush us with numbers, with strength, with terror. But they do not understand humanity. We are small, but we are fierce. We are outnumbered, but we are relentless. We will survive. We will fight. And we will show the galaxy that humans cannot be beaten. The stars above were filled with the chaos of battle, explosions lighting the darkness, ships maneuvering in impossible formations. Humanity was tested like never before, but every test proved the same thing: humans never give up. Even against overwhelming odds, humans find a way to fight, to survive, and to triumph. Kira and her squadron returned to Earth orbit, battered but alive. The war was far from over. Aliens would regroup, strike again, and bring more fleets to destroy humanity. But humans had learned something powerful. Courage, ingenuity, and determination could overcome even the greatest threats. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a merciless human war, and no force would ever underestimate Earth again. Humans were no longer just defending, they were attacking. Years of survival, strategy, and daring missions had taught them the ways of the galaxy. Now, they moved boldly, striking deep into alien-controlled systems. Every fleet, every squadron, and every weapon was used with purpose. Kira led a mission to a heavily guarded alien supply hub. The moment her squadron approached, sensors lit up with warnings. Alien patrols swarmed the area, massive cruisers bristling with weapons. Most species would have retreated. Humans did not. Using clever maneuvers, the squadron weaved through the defenses. Mines, decoys, and rapid strikes allowed them to cripple the hub. Explosions lit the gas giant's rings like fireworks, signaling to the galaxy that humans were unstoppable. Even the alien commanders, who had once laughed at Earth, now watched in disbelief. On Earth, the president addressed the human population. We are small, but we are fierce. We are outnumbered, but we are relentless. Today, humanity shows the galaxy that courage and ingenuity matter more than numbers. We fight not only to survive, but to dominate. Human colonies across the stars joined in. Systems once thought vulnerable became strongholds. Engineers built weapons using scavenged alien technology. Scientists developed new ships faster than the aliens could replace theirs. Civilians became soldiers, and soldiers became heroes. Every human knew that the future of their species depended on their bravery. Kira's squadron faced their greatest challenge yet, a massive alien armada, moving to crush the human offensive. The armada was powerful, its weapons deadly. One strike could obliterate entire fleets. But humans did not flinch. They used every trick they had learned: speed, unpredictability, and daring attacks. The battle raged across multiple planets and moons. Human pilots, small in number, struck huge targets with precision. Alien ships that seemed invincible fell one by one. Humans had turned the tide. They were no longer cornered, they were the hunters, the unstoppable force. In the middle of the chaos, Kira noticed something extraordinary. The aliens were retreating. For the first time, they were afraid. Humans had done what no other species could. They had taken the fight to the enemy and forced them to yield. It was a victory born not from numbers or brute strength, but from courage, ingenuity, and the unbreakable human spirit. The Starfire array, though not fully unleashed, had served as a deterrent. The aliens knew humans had hidden power, waiting for the right moment. That knowledge alone made them cautious, hesitant, and fearful. The humans had shown that they could survive, fight, and dominate on their terms. As Kira and her squadron returned to Earth orbit, the galaxy seemed different. The stars no longer felt cold and distant, they seemed alive, as if they recognized the rise of a new power. Humanity had survived its first true war, and now, it was a force that could shape the future of the galaxy itself. Even in the darkest corners of space, whispers spread, Earth was no longer a small, fragile planet. Humans were merciless, clever, and unstoppable. The galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy held its breath. The humans had grown from a small, underestimated species into a force that even the strongest aliens feared. Now, the final battle loomed, a confrontation that would decide the fate of countless systems. Kira stood on the bridge of her flagship, staring at the massive alien armada approaching. Ships of unimaginable size and firepower filled the void of space. For most species, facing such odds would be impossible. But humans thrived on impossible. Every pilot, soldier, and engineer knew that courage and ingenuity mattered more than size or strength. Today, we end this, Kira said to her squadron. Not just to survive, but to show the galaxy who we are. Human fleets, coordinated across multiple systems, launched a simultaneous strike. Small fighters darted between massive alien warships, targeting engines, weapons, and command centers. Bombers dropped precise payloads that crippled supply lines. Human ingenuity turned every weakness into an opportunity. The Starfire array, hidden for so long, finally activated. Its energy beams tore through enemy formations, annihilating fleets in minutes. The aliens had counted on numbers, on firepower, but humans had hidden strength, strategy, and a will that no weapon could destroy. Alien leaders panicked. Their fleets were falling, systems were collapsing, and morale crumbled. They had never faced a species so small yet so relentless. Every move the humans made was unexpected, unpredictable, and devastatingly effective. Kira's squadron led the final strike. They navigated through debris and fire, reaching the flagship of the alien armada. Energy shields glowed, weapons powered up, and alarms blared. With a precise attack, they disabled the ship's defenses. In moments, the massive vessel was helpless, drifting in the void as humans claimed victory. Across the galaxy, alien forces began surrendering or retreating. Systems once thought lost were liberated. Human colonies cheered, their defenders returning as heroes. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a species that refused to be crushed, a species that could turn fear into courage and desperation into triumph. On Earth, the President addressed the galaxy through every transmission. We did not fight because we were strong. We fought because we refused to be weak. We survived because we were clever, brave, and united. Let this be a warning. Humans do not bow, we do not surrender, and we never forget. The galaxy now knows the power of humanity. The stars were no longer silent. They echoed with the victory of a small planet that had changed the course of history. Humans, though fragile and outnumbered, had become a merciless force, a species capable of shaping the fate of the galaxy. Kira looked out at the stars, her heart filled with pride. Humanity had survived, thrived, and conquered, not through sheer numbers, but through courage, ingenuity, and an unbreakable spirit. The war was over, but the legend of humans would echo across the universe forever. Even as alien fleets fled, whispers spread, Earth had issued its final warning. Now, the galaxy had learned to fear the humans, and no one would ever forget.